Evening. Right, looks like I am live on both Twitter and Facebook, which is good. I'll just mumble to myself a minute while I wait for a guest to join, see if anybody comes along. And yes, we are live this week. We are not toy live like we were last week with the pre-recorded watch party. No, we are actually here live at 6 o'clock. Wednesday the 29th, we are here. Looks like we're getting a couple of watchers, so give me a shout if you are joining us. Evening, Steve. Good to see you, buddy. Sarita's watching. Hi, Sarita. Sarita's hopefully going to be our guest next week. She works for the Early Attachment Service over in Rochdale, Heywood, Middleton and Rochdale Early Attachment Service, doing wonderful work. We work really closely with them. They are part of the reason that we are expanding or have expanded into Rochdale. So yeah, hopefully next week she can come along as a guest and we can tell you a bit more of that. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a few people watching now. I'll just give it a little minute longer. Hopefully Kieran will be watching in the chair shortly. So if we have any questions, he can answer them for us. You might see me again looking between two screens. I'm trying to hide Twitter down there, hi Facebook up here. It's not personal preference, just one's on my iPad, one's on my phone, and one's bigger than the other. So, yeah, that's all really. So yeah, we'll just give it a minute. I know it's a bit boring at the moment. Kieran Anders is watching. That's good. That's good. Kieran and Dad Matters are on. There we go. He's in the hot seat. Good stuff. So yeah, the Tiger King himself is watching. That's always a bonus, isn't it? Right. Let me just turn that down. We don't need to hear echo of me talking, do we? Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the Dad Chat Live. I feel a bit closed in. I've put this sign a bit close to me and it's kind of leaning into the back of my head, but never mind. We'll crack on as we are. I hope you're all well. Hope you're keeping sane. Not going a bit mental. Maybe a little bit. We all are, aren't we, really? But yeah, I hope you're all doing good. Where do we start? Those of you who've been on before will know that we generally, Evening Stephen Homer, good to see you along. It's usually, we follow a general theme around our three chosen topics that we talk about at Dad Chat, which are attachment, mental health and access to services. So yes, we shall be covering those subjects, but we're going to talk about a few other things as well outside of there, like we always do. We usually have a little recap on what's happening COVID-19 wise. No change. It's exactly the same. It's kind of almost come to that point where it's just plateauing now, isn't it? So, yeah, as we're aware, as far as we're aware with the hospitals, the rules are still the same. You can't attend scans, you can't attend appointments, but you will be there for active labour. So active labour, for those of you who may not know the difference between labour and active labour, labour is when it first, you first getting your contractions, maybe the waters might break at that point, they don't always, but that's sort of the start of labour. Active or established labour is when your partner is dilated and she's basically about to give birth, so yes. That's the part that you'll be there for. From what we've heard from other dads, you might have to wait in a car park or somewhere just to be nearby to the hospital, wait for that call to say that you're allowed in. So it will be a case of you'll drop your partner off and basically wait for the green light, unless when you get there she's already in established or active labour. So same as it was really. You will not miss the birth of your child is the main message, unless you're showing symptoms of coronavirus, which hopefully you're not doing, and if you're not, then you're in, basically. So that is good news. You may have seen a video that we shared earlier today, one of our Meet the Dad videos. We've done 3 now in the series. So our initial one was with Aaron from Bolton. He'd just become a dad, I think that same day or the day before. He was talking about how things had changed because they were going through maternity prior to COVID, so they had the appointments and then lockdown happened. We also talked to Steve. Steve has been a dad for, I think it's a few weeks now. And again, it was that kind of enclosure of not being able to go out and show your baby off, still, being in that lockdown period really, and how that can affect. And then today's was John. So John's dad-to-be. So dad-to-be's are the people that we normally approach with our dad chat, so it was good to actually get a dad to be on board and speak to him and get his point of view of how things are going, how he's feeling, oh, there we go, we've got a link to the video as well, brilliant. Pardon me. So yeah, how he's feeling, how things have changed, because again, they were found out they were pregnant before lockdown. I actually met John and had a chat with him before lockdown, but then since lockdown it was how things have changed. And actually, if you watch the video, you'll see it's not as scary as it seems. He was really upbeat, really positive. Him and his wife both embracing the fact that they're getting this time together. And bloody hell, missed that, the video, not the being a dad. Brilliant. Yeah, so it seems like they're coping quite well with it, which is great, and hopefully that can be of some comfort to dads who are in that same position, who are wondering what's going to happen and have got them worries of how are things going to pan out. That's the whole idea of these videos, is to show what real dads and dads-to-be are going through right now, just so you know you're not alone and you can share that experience and have someone that empathises with you, just to hopefully put your mind at rest. The main thing is, it's not a big scary time. It's not a mass, although it is a change, it's not this kind of big scary change where you're in some kind of lockdown room and you're all scrubbed up and not allowed to leave the hospital. It's basically, you'll see the birth of your child, that's it. The rest of it you won't be able to do, which is a shame, particularly the scans, but that's where we're at with it. So that's kind of our COVID recap. So yeah, moving on to our themes of Dad Chat. As we do most weeks, we talk about attachment, how you can attach with baby, about bonding with baby, about when attachment starts, and what good attachment looks like. Obviously, if you've got any questions, just fire them into the comments. Either I'll reply to you straight away, or Kieran will pop a link on there that could help out with your questions. But yeah, attachment is basically creating that bond with your baby. Secure and good attachment is absolutely vital for a baby's well-being and upbringing. It also helps your mental health and your well-being as well. Bonding with your baby is really key. The development they go through in the early stages is massive. So from conception up to birth, their brain develops 20%, which is a decent amount considering they're inside the womb. They're not even out experiencing the world. While they're developing, they are taking in a lot of what's going on outside them. They see by sort of 20 odd weeks, 24-ish weeks, they're hearing sound, seeing lights, and they're able to recognise things as well. So they start to recognise dad's voice. If you've got pets, they'll recognise the sound of your pets. They'll get used to your routine as well, and they'll have their own little routine that you'll start to notice. Obviously, you won't feel it. I'm touching my belly. I've got one that looks pregnant, but you won't feel that, but your partner will tell you all these things she's feeling. Oh, he's kicking. Oh, he does this every day. They might turn at a certain time of day. They will start to respond when they hear dad's voice as well, because they hear mum's voice pretty much constantly when she's talking, whereas dad, if he's not been there and he reappears and speaks, that's baby's time to react, and that's really good. It's a good time to start that attachment. So talking to the bum, singing to the bum, reading stories, just telling them how your day's gone, anything that you want to do is really good. Like John said in the video, he started doing different music, different daily playlists for the bump, just to get them used to his kind of music. And it might be that they grow up hating it, or they might grow up loving it and react to that music straight away because they're used to it. I know I used to sing Fat Bottom Girls to my wife's belly because the bum used to always stick out up here, and there's not much recollection when she hears it now, but to me it's still one of those little moments that when I hear it, I've got that bond now because of that song, so that's a really good thing. So yeah, up to birth, 20% brain development. After birth, that's where things really start to accelerate. So from birth to 2 is where the most development takes place. So it's 60% brain development takes place in that stage, which puts you up to 80% development in total. So you've got your 20% in the womb and then a further 60% for them first 2 years, which is phenomenal. It's a huge amount of brain development for your baby, and that's where the attachment side of things comes in. If you start to attach and bond well with baby at them points, you can make connections in their brain, positive connections in their brain that will last for their lifetime. So every time you smile at your baby, every time you wave, every time you talk, every time you do something positive to baby, if you respond to them gurgling, that fires off a little neuron in the brain and it creates a connection. So every little bit of interaction you have with your baby creates this connection. The more you do that, the more that becomes hardwired into the brain. So if you think of when we've all seen brains on TV shows and things, they're full of like that goopy material, really thick, fatty looking stuff. That's the connections that are being made. That kind of the connections get covered in all this goopy stuff and basically wired into the brain for good. And it really helps them. They have that secure attachment with you. They know that you're their safe place then. So it's really easy to do as well. It doesn't take loads of work. Even 30 minutes a day is enough. So for all dads, not around this COVID time particularly, but if you're a key worker and you are still out of the house, that 20-30 minutes that you can do every day can be key to helping that brain development for your child, and it will create that bond with you. We mention it all the time. Skin to skin is another huge beneficial way to do attachment. So getting your top off, getting baby's top off on your chest, a little blanket over them to make sure they're not too cold, and that's just the best feeling ever. And I will always mention it every week because I loved it and I still do, and it's a great feeling. And you honestly cannot beat having your little baby on your chest, just hearing them, feeling them breathe on you. Goopy stuff, trademark by Dad Matters. Yeah, that is hard. We've come up with some good terms, and goopy stuff, we're having that one. Yeah, but having that feeling of baby just right there on your chest, they can feel your heartbeat. You might be able to feel their tiny little fast heartbeat going away. And it's just that exchange of hormones that you get as well. It just makes you feel calm, relaxed. It helps baby feel calm and relaxed as well. They can then kind of sort out what's going on in their brain. So the baby states that we've mentioned a few times, if they're just in that sort of light sleep stage while they're on you, they'll be sorting out what's happened in the day. And if they're in a comfortable, safe place at that time, it really helped them to do that. So yeah, getting that skin to skin's good. I've got a comment here, let's just have a read of this one. On the subject of development, any advice on multilingual households? We're a bit of him learning language, but read lots of different things on speaking different languages, and when any insights you've learnt or heard. To be honest, that's a question I've certainly never been asked before, Steve. But if you were to live in a multilingual household, because baby will be used to that, I would assume that they're going to pick that up sooner. And it's about what you teach them. If you say hello to your baby enough times, when their vocal cords develop and they're able to use the tongue to speak, they'll say hello back. If you say bonjour, hola, all of them things, they will pick it up. The way their brain can process it, the earlier you start is probably the better, because again, it becomes hardwired in the brain and they start to learn it. I know there's a lot of work being done on sign language for babies, and parents that do that rave about it. We had a friend who did it with their little girl, and before she could speak, she could ask for a bottle by using sign language, and I think that might have been bottle, I'm not sure. There were certain things she did, but again, because she'd been taught it basically from being born, she knew it, and it was natural to her, and it was instinctive. So it would be the same in multilingual households. There'd be a bit of work to make them understand the word in both languages, I would imagine. Hopefully we've got a parent who's been through that, and it would be great if they could share any experience of that. That would be fabulous, just to let us know how they've got on with that. But yeah, it's certainly something that I think is good to try from a young age, because otherwise, once they're in school, they'll start to get taught, maybe, we all got taught French at school, didn't we? And it could be confusing to them, whereas if you've got that multilingual talent already, it could come a lot easier to them. We've got a couple more comments. Danny, new to the page, loving it so far. Thanks for being here, Dad. You're more than welcome, Danny. That's the kind of feedback we love, and that's exactly why we're here. We're dads ourselves, and it's just a vocation for us. We want to help other dads out, so that's great to hear. Emma, have I seen a brain development video yet? I've not yet, Emma. I saw that you posted it, but I've not watched it yet. So Emma is one of our infant feeding team from Homestart, and they are doing a lot of videos at the moment. We are sharing a lot of them to our page, so I'll have a look. If we've not shared that yet, we definitely will do. So yeah, we'll have a look at that. Baby sign is great to help babies communicate before they talk. So yes, Sarita there saying exactly what, echoing what I'd just said. So our friend's daughter could communicate with the mum without talking because she knew exactly what to do. Apparently the video's on Instagram about brain development as well, which is fabulous. So there's a few comments going on there. Kieran and Steve are on a little bit of a chat about the bilingual stuff, so I'll leave them to do that chat in the comments. Um, so we're talking about attachment, we're talking about good attachment, how you can make these good connections, how important it is to brain development. The key thing to remember is you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it right every single time. Babies need a little bit of adversity, and I mean a little bit, we don't want loads, but they need to be able to build up some resilience and coping mechanisms to deal with when things don't quite go the way that they want them to. So, for example, if your baby ends up crying for the food, if you miss feeding cues and they get to a stage of crying, that's not the end of the world, as long as that's not every single time. We usually say good is good enough, and it's around about 60% of the time. If you meet the cues and you respond accordingly and everything's great, that's what you want. And that 40%, that's where they build up their resilience and their coping mechanisms. Phenomenal work, Mick, and all the Dad Matters team. Thank you, Steve. That's brilliant. That's, again, great feedback. We always love that. That's Steve. He's a great driving instructor if you're around the Glossop area. When we're back out on the roads, I can recommend him highly. Steve Chapman, what a top man as well. Good friend of mine. He has been for a long time. He's always supported what I do with Dad Matters. So, yeah, I'll support him straight back there, which is great. So, yeah, talking again around the attachment thing. If you do miss cues and baby starts crying, baby's upset, and you need to console them, there are various ways that you can console your baby. We've talked regularly about reciprocity, containment, and those kind of things. So last time I got it slightly wrong, so I'm going to give a slight recap and hopefully I'll get it right this time. So reciprocity is being able to understand how your baby's feeling and take their thoughts on board and understand from their point of view how they feel. So it's sort of replicating what's going on in their head for yourself. Containment links in with that quite nicely. Containment is where you can take your baby and you can just take them thoughts off them for a while, take that negativeness, and you can bottle it up yourself for now while they sort themselves out, and then it can be dealt with in that way. It's a similar way to how therapy works, on obviously a different level with parent and child. So containment is really good. If your baby's upset, just try and work out why, try and think why, try and comfort them, let them know that they're safe, they've got their safe place because they've got the attachment, and then they can sort out what's going on, and then things will start to pick up again. So it's just learning how to do those things, and sometimes just hand on the chest, a cuddle, asking what's wrong, depending how old they are and how well they communicate will differ with this, but it's certainly something that you want to be doing for your babies. So yeah, try that definitely. Last time I mentioned reciprocity as part of the serve and return, but serve and return is different. That's a communication tool for you and baby, so that's to help with the brain development and how you communicate with your baby. So it's that conversation, telling them what you're doing, having that one-to-one chat with them, giving them spaces to respond to you. So that's really good to do. There are a lot of other things that you can do with baby. I'm not going to lie, I'm not an expert on them at the moment, so I don't want to give you advice that isn't tip-top, but I know Kieran's got a lot of links of things. He is the guru on all these things, and it's stuff that I'm very, very quickly catching up with. But things around like observing your baby, so EMBO observations to understand what your baby's thinking, how they respond to what you do, that can really help you understand how what you do affects baby and the positive things you can do to help keep them attachments going. And all the stuff around baby states as well, again, I'm kind of getting up to speed on those. We've shared a lot about that recently though, particularly on our page, so it's really good. One thing we did share today as well, which has come about because of the coronavirus and this situation we're in, is how not having dad around, particularly at birth, can affect baby, mum and dad individually, their own mental health, their own development and how they're feeling. Best Beginnings and the Association for Mental Health, Infant Mental Health. So yeah, Best Beginnings is an app that you can download. It's a really great app. The NHS recommend this app. It's got tons and tons of advice on there for basically what to do with baby, how to get them off to the best beginning, and the Association for Infant Mental Health as well. They've got loads of stuff on their page that can help out, so that's really good information to have. So yeah, this study that we shared today was around the negative effects of not having dad around during birth and in the early stages. If you want to have a look at it, go on our page. We only shared it earlier today. It's a really good thing to have a look at and just read. It's quite interesting as well, and it shows how much dad not being there affects the whole family unit. So that's why a lot of maternity services are really key on keeping dad involved and making sure he's there for birth and then going on forward from that as well. DadPad UK is another one Kieran's just shared. We always promote the DadPad. It's down here on our side, and I've got a DadPad here. Sorry for my face going right in the screen there. So the DadPad, yes, a great tool. I know it's back to front, so you might read it as DAP-dabbed, but yeah, it's a DadPad. So it is basically a tool for dads to help them understand how to basically look after the baby. It says the essential, I'm going to face it the right way so I can read it, the essential guide for dads to be. So it's good for dads to be. It is also good for, I'll put it over a bit so Twitter can see it. It's also good for new dads as well because it's got a lot of stuff for the early stages. If you are a dad to be though, getting a DadPad or downloading the app, which is probably the best way of doing it, it can help you read up beforehand and learn all these things. So it's a really simple thing to use. So in the DadPad, you've got your content and it's got loads of different subjects. So it's got things from the midwifery service, the health visiting team, feeding, holding, crying, sleeping, cleaning, getting to know your baby, first aid, child development, supporting each other, and then some legal stuff at the end as well. So there's loads of different subjects. So say for example, it's your turn to bath baby and you're not sure what to do, or beforehand you're wondering, what am I going to do? How do I clean my baby? So you go to the cleaning, how do I wash my baby? So you find that page 16 and 17, and it's much easier on the app as well because you just tap. But on here, you would find your page and it basically has all the info on there. I'm making a right hash of this saying it's easy to use, aren't I? But hey, shows I'm human. So yeah, you're cleaning the baby page. It's got all the information you've got on there. You can see loads of stuff on there. It shows about a bowl of warm water, a towel, cotton wool, fresh nappy, clean clothes and changing mats, so all the things you'll need, and then it just talks you through. Obviously I'm not going to go into great detail of what it says there, but yeah, great tool. We recommend this highly to dads. It's been licensed by Greater Manchester, so you can download the app, put your postcode in, it'll link you to your health service, and yeah, it's a really good tool to have. One thing we say with dads as well is if you feel like you've got what could be a daft question, having the DadPad, particularly on your phone or iPad, is great because you can look like you're just scrolling through Facebook, checking Twitter, looking at football, whatever, and you could be looking up this information without having to ask anybody, without having to sort of make yourself feel like you're asking a stupid question. Not that there is a stupid question, but that is, yeah, something really good to use for them kind of things. Sarita's commenting as well. They have a new Facebook group, Hayward, Middleton and Rochdale Early Attachment Service. Great little group as well to join there. So if you are over in that area, Hayward, Middleton and Rochdale, their early attachment service page is fabulous. There's so much good information on there. There was a load of articles shared on there today. I've not had a chance to read them all yet, but some really good stuff, some really fascinating stuff too. I've got various screens going, but I can't start typing to find them now. Hopefully Kieran in the background will find a link to that group and pop it on there, because it is a fabulous group to be having a look at. So yeah, I would recommend that highly. Get on their page, speak to them as well. That's a big thing. If you've got any questions, ask people, talk to people. So communication is massive to making sure that you're doing the right things, which comes into our access to service and links in with the mental health side of what we do. So good mental health is key to looking after baby. If your mental health's struggling, you may be able to do all the standard things, feed your baby, change them, clean them, put them down, dress them, etc. But if you're doing it without being fully engaged, you might be a bit straight-faced, a bit distant, just not having that emotional attachment. That's going to affect baby as much as it's going to affect you. So if you feel like your mental health's struggling, you need to speak, you need to talk to people. And there are so many services that you can use. We're linked in with a stupid amount of services almost. There's so many. But as Sarita's saying, get in touch with the EAS in Rochdale, because they will help, get in touch with us. We can refer to each other. We speak all the time. We work in partnership with these people. Speak to your midwives, speak to your health visitors, talk to your GP if you need to, even if it's just a Facebook message that you send to us, to somebody, to a group, even if it's just a friend, just saying, I'm not okay. That's absolutely fine. You can do that. I need help. It's one of the biggest things to say, I need help. It's massive, and it's a big step. Once you've said them words, that's when everything will start to move forward for you and things will start to pick up pace. So yeah, just talking is massive for your mental health. Make sure that you're okay so that you can be the best dad that you need to be. And it's so simple to do, but it's hard to get past that first step. It's just making that first jump to actually put your head above the parapet and saying, actually, I'm not quite all right. Once you do that, then you'll find that people will be there to help you. I've got a couple more comments here. Let's have a look. Brilliant charity encouraging dads to be more involved with the baby and sharing and caring as well as supporting them in their mental health. Exactly, that's exactly what we do, Paula. Yeah, we're trying to make sure that they are well involved with the baby, that they are, as I just said, the best dad they can be, and that their mental health is key as well. What advice would you give about mother and baby unit? My partner and daughter are currently in there. What can happen to the bond with me and baby? So again, with the mother and baby unit, so for those people who don't know, mother and baby units are specialist units at hospital for mothers who are suffering a little bit with their mental health, but they keep baby with them. So we do a lot of work, particularly with Wythenshawe. We've been to the MBU there and spoke to them. We did do monthly dad chats there, but obviously we're not visiting at the moment. As Kieran's put there, he's just popped his email so that you can have a good chat, because it's probably one of those chats that's best not done live over Facebook. But we've got loads of advice, and Kieran is definitely the man. He'll help you out with that, because that bond still can be done. Record yourself singing, talking, and ask mum or staff to play to baby. Send some of your stinkiest clothes. Stinkiest clothes, that is a really good one. Your scent on clothes is massive. So the t-shirt you've worn that day, if you send that to hospital and mum and baby have a cuddle, if they do skin to skin but then put your t-shirt around them, that is a big family unit bond, because baby gets used to your scent and smell. We don't mean stinkiest by fully BO, but yeah, having them things, it's a really good thing to do. Just getting that scent of you, that idea of dad. So even though you're physically not there, baby will still think you are. Hearing your voice is key as well. FaceTiming, all those kind of things are great. And the staff at MBU will be well on board with that as well. They'll help out with any of that, because normally they've got that support where you can come in and be there, and I'm sure they're dealing with everything that they can do for that. So yeah, again, that's around your mental health. So accessing services, as we said, just put your hand up and ask. Just speak, talk to people. Get your voice heard so that people know that you need a bit of help, because once you do, there is help out there. There's plenty of help out there. We are just one of a number of services. Obviously, if you're watching me now on screen, you're engaged with us, so just drop us a message, pop a comment somewhere, talk to us. Email addresses are on the page, phone numbers are there. You can get in touch with us relatively easily, and we will do our best to help you out. So yeah, I think that's kind of all the subjects that we wanted to cover today, and that's the essence of a dad chat, is those three subjects: attachment, mental health, and access to services. If we nail all them, then the world's going to be a better place. Definitely, you'll have that great bond, and yeah, everything will flow nicely. The key thing is, look after yourself. If you look after yourself, you're equipped to look after others. If you don't look after yourself, that's where you're going to struggle. And don't get to that point where you're having to scream for help and you're having to back away from daily life because you're not coping. If you spot the signs early enough, then yeah, just speak up and ask, because being the best version of you that you can be means that you'll be the best version of a dad you can be to your baby, the best version of a partner you can be to your partner, and that just helps create that bond. Even for dads and mums who are separated, babies still need the parents. They need both parents. And again, there are so many groups and things out there that can help cope with those scenarios. Certainly in this time, where if you're separated, you're not going to see each other. So yeah, talk, speak, look after yourselves, stay safe. And I think that is about it, really. So there's no questions or no more questions popping up. So I am going to bid you a good farewell, because I've just spoke half hour straight. My tongue is drier than dry, and I'm going to go and get a glass of water, bid you all good night, and hopefully see you again soon. Like I say, next week we'll have Sarita on from the early attachment service over in Rochdale. What we'll probably do is do a pre-record like we did last week, just so that we don't drop in and out like we've done previously with guests on. But we'll do a live watch party, and we'll all be in the background to help answer any questions you've got. So yeah, stay safe. We may speak to you, we may not, but hopefully we'll see you same time next week. Thank you very much, all. See you later.